What's up everyone and welcome back. Today we've got an incredibly exciting explainer lined up for you. We're running the ultimate gauntlet on a model that is, well, literally shaking up the entire AI industry right now. We're talking about Moonshot AI's Kimi K3. This is easily one of the most impressive open frontier models to drop this year, and we're going to look closely at a comprehensive JustAIWorld evaluation to see exactly what this thing is capable of. So here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with Exhibit A, Frontier Intelligence, then move into Exhibit B for Developer Benchmarks. After that, Exhibit C covers agentic demonstrations, and Exhibit D breaks down the performance economics. Finally, we'll wrap up with our verdict on the open future. Let's get right into it. Alright, just to set the stage here, we absolutely have to talk about the sheer scale of what Moonshot AI just dropped. Kimi K3 is rocking a massive 2.8 trillion parameter open source architecture. Think of parameters like the brain cells of the model. Having 2.8 trillion makes this an absolute behemoth in the open weight space. And you know, that translates directly into some serious raw capability. Breaking down the core specs, K3 boasts a staggering 1 million token context window. Basically, that means it can process entire books of information in a single prompt. Oh, and it's natively multimodal right out of the box. It's actually already ranked number 3 on the super competitive World of AI benchmark, and it's specifically built for long-horizon agentic coding. That means it can act as an autonomous agent to solve complex multi-step problems entirely on its own. So yeah, K3 isn't just playing around in the open source kiddie pool. It is firmly in the exact same conversation as heavy hitters like Claude Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 Sol. Okay, let's jump into Exhibit A, Frontier Intelligence, focusing specifically on design and layout. When you actually put Kimi K3 and GPT 5.6 Sol side by side, the difference is kind of night and day. While both models generate similar base features, K3 demonstrates significantly stronger visual judgment and much cleaner layouts. The outputs you get from K3 are just far more polished, super intentional, and it shows noticeably better 3D execution. I mean, reaching this level of aesthetic refinement is a massive milestone for the open source ecosystem. Moving right along, let's look at Exhibit B, Developer Benchmarks, which we like to call the gauntlet. In these rigorous coding evaluations, K3 just completely takes the number 1 spot on both Program Bench and SW Marathon. It's wild. It only trails GPT 5.6 Sol by a tiny margin, just 0.5, on Terminal Bench, and sits just behind Fable 5 on Frontier SWE. But the really crucial takeaway for us here, K3 consistently outperforms Claude Opus 4.8 on coding across literally every single benchmark, putting up straight-up state-of-the-art results for complex development tasks. And, you know, beyond pure coding, it is an absolute powerhouse as a browser agent too. Check this out. It scores over 91% on the browser comp benchmark. The truly incredible part here is that it's delivering performance comparable to flagship closed models like Claude Mythos 5 and GPT 5.6 Sol, but it does it for only about $2 a task. That is a total game changer. So you might be wondering, how do I actually get my hands on this? Well, here are the 4 main ways you can integrate K3 into your daily workflows. Right the second. The Kimi chatbot is by far the easiest free access point. Or you can use K3 Swarm if you need to deploy multiple agents. There's also the 2.6 fast mode, which is great to skip the thinking phase when you just need raw speed. And of course, you can access the API directly through developer harnesses like Kimi Code. Alright, let's turn up the heat a bit with Exhibit C agentic demonstrations, featuring some live stress tests. Our DOSI's first live stress test asked the model to generate a full macOS clone. And guys, it is not an exaggeration to say this is the absolute best macOS clone we have ever seen generated from any AI model, period. The level of detail here is just staggering. It didn't just spit out a pretty picture, it built functional systems. We are talking a working menu bar for sound and brightness, real battery percentages, and a fully functional spotlight search. It actually coded working apps like Safari with live landing pages, a functional music player, maps, you name it. It even threw in customized appearance settings and an incoming FaceTime call simulation. I mean, the depth of this generation is just phenomenal. For the second test, the evaluators really wanted to push its physics and 3D capabilities. So they asked it to code a cyberpunk Spider-Man-style browser game, and it nailed it. It successfully implemented real-time 3D lighting, a gritty atmospheric city, actual rope physics, collision logic, and totally smooth camera controls. And get this, all of it running perfectly right inside a web browser. To truly put its 3D environment generation to the test, the exact same prompt was given to both K3 and Opus 4.8. The prompt was, build a detailed armory bay with lighting, props, and atmosphere. The gap in capability here is just undeniable. K3 delivered this rich, beautifully textured 3D scene, complete with weapon racks, ammo crates, and dramatic alarm lighting. Opus 4.8, well, it basically left you with a basic, mostly empty room with barely any objects in it. But, honestly, K3 didn't even stop there. It managed to code a full FPS shooter, complete with enemy AI, multiple weapons, and working physics. From a single prompt, it generated a Red Dead Redemption-style open world with explorable terrain. It also created a hyper-realistic 3D NVIDIA GPU landing page with scroll triggers, an interactive 3JS chili pepper that literally splits open on scroll to show the seeds inside, and an isometric virtual MacBook room featuring a working windowing system. It is exhibiting absolute Fable 5 level capabilities, but doing it entirely in an open-weight form. Let's dive right into Exhibit D, Performance Economics. To test the economics fairly, they ran a head-to-head game design generation prompt. And the results? Well, K3 actually had the strongest visual direction, the best gameplay details, and really solid pacing. What's super interesting is that both Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 produced gameplay that felt noticeably too fast. And no, that wasn't sped-up footage. It was a genuine pacing flaw in their generation logic. So K3 won on pure quality. But then you have to look at the cost to generate that winning result. Kimi K3 cost just 3 cents. GPT 5.6 Sol cost 11 cents. Fable 5 cost 38 cents. So K3 delivered the absolute best result at a massive fraction of the cost. Looking closely at the raw token ledger for API users, it's just $3 per million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. But here is where the real magic happens. The cash hit. When the AI remembers your previous data so it doesn't have to reread it, the price drops to roughly 30 cents per million tokens. The takeaway here is absolutely profound. You are essentially getting Fable and GPT level intelligence, but you are paying Claude Sonnet level prices. Before we get to the final verdict, there was one more visual test where K3 absolutely dominated, easily earning the title of SVG Generation King. Scalable vector graphics were put to the test across desert landscapes, city skylines, houses, and mountain ranges. In every single prompt, K3 showed much better composition and visual depth than Fable 5. In one specific butterfly SVG test, it rendered highly realistic symmetry and these gorgeous wing gradients. Now, it wasn't completely flawless. There was some minor room for improvement right at the body connection point and with some of the wing patterns. Before an open model, the depth was simply unprecedented, which brings us to our final verdict, the open future. Kimi K3 is undeniably one of the biggest surprises of the entire year. It consistently delivers top-tier coding quality that straight up tops the leaderboards. It totally excels at browser comps and complex multi-model tasks. It deeply impresses with an inherent design sense, 3D environment creation, and real-time game generation. And most importantly, it wraps all of this frontier-level intelligence into a highly affordable open-weight architecture. Moonshot AI has delivered a remarkable model milestone, and it's really easy to see why this is rapidly becoming a daily driver for developers all over the world. And this explainer leaves us with one critical lingering thought. If open models like Kimi K3 are rapidly closing this gap today, actually surpassing closed-source giants in both complex tasks and economics, how long is it until those closed-source giants lose their crown completely? It is a truly fascinating time for AI. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next video.